Hey guys, so today we are going to do another EdPuzzle. We're going to try this one again. We are going to be looking at Module 4, Week 3, Day 13, and in this we will be looking at conflict and resolution in the play. When you finish the EdPuzzle, you will have a you do to answer. You will have a vocabulary page, and then you will have your reading log on Flipgrid. So our goal for today is to identify the conflict and resolution of a play. You will be successful when you can look near the beginning to identify the main or big problem in the story. You will also explain what the characters do to try and fix the problem. And we're going to be writing our ideas in a plot mountain, and then we will look in the end to decide if the problem was resolved. So we've been reading the story with the two cubs, and a strategy that we're going to be using is to be thinking about this plot mountain. So the plot is the structure or organization of events that make up a fictional story. In the beginning, we call it the exposition. Those are just the beginning things where it introduces the character and the setting, and it also introduces the conflict or the problem. Most stories are going to have some kind of problem. We call it the conflict. Then, as the plot continues, we have this rising action where events are happening and we're going up this mountain. So we've got some problems and we're kind of going up and we're trying to solve this. These are the events before the climax. The characters attempt to solve the problem, but usually they fail. So they're trying to reach this top. The top is this turning point where there's this greatest suspense of action. That's the part in the story where you're like, oh my gosh, is it going to happen? Is it finally going to get there? Once you get to the top of the mountain, you got to come back down, kind of like in our story, and we have this falling action, and the action and the events that occur after the climax are the falling action. So the events are coming back down, and we're looking toward that resolution or the end of the story where the conflict or the problems are solved. So we have resolution or the solution. We use both of those at the same time, or conclusion. So as we were looking at this text, we have been reading, and we know that in this text, the two cubs are playing around, and they run off, and they go downriver, and they get stuck on top of this huge rock, and they fall asleep. So as I was looking at this, I was trying to figure out what is the main conflict or the problem in this story. So in here it says, storyteller entering from stage left, the cubs fall asleep on the stone, but the stone was a seed of a mountain. As they slept, the stone grew bigger and bigger, higher and higher. His hand sprawling upward suggests the growing mountain. It carried them so high that only Hawk saw them as he flew by. This is where the beginning of our problem happens. We know that the cubs fall asleep and the mountain starts to grow so that only Hawk is able to see him. So as we're thinking about this and as we move into this new scene 2, we need to look at the characters and figure out how the problem affects them. So we're going to be thinking about this question. The main conflict or problem is that Mother Grizzly. When I'm looking at this page, what is it that Mother Grizzly is having the problem? What is she struggling with? Right here in paragraph 28, it says, "My mother dear, my little ones are missing. Have you seen them?" So we know that Mother Grizzly's problem or conflict is that her cubs are missing and she can't find them. So I'm going to be using this story mountain, and you guys are going to be using this as well to answer these questions and to fill in our chart to help us to understand the plot and the event and how it helps us to solve the problem. So our background information or the exposition is the characters a little bit about them, and then the setting. So we know that the storyteller is part of the characters, the mother grizzly, the older brother, and the younger brother. There are other characters, but these are going to be our main characters that we're going to focus on. The setting is the forest and mountains and by the river. We just determined that the conflict is that the cubs are missing and Mother Grizzly can't find them. So we're going to go through here and we're going to think about, as we were reading the story, the events in order. We want to think about those things that were happening, the most important parts that were happening in the story. So as I was thinking, Mother Grizzly is so worried, but she goes to each of her friends and is asking for their help. So fox, badger, mouse, mountain lion, mother deer, and the two fawns all begin looking for the cubs. So as I continue, I want to think about what happens next. What do we know about them and how they're finding the cubs, or if they are finding the cubs? Remember, part of the rising action is that they try to have a solution, but they often fail. So I know that they didn't find the cubs yet. So we're still trying to find the cubs. And I want you to think about, what was the next major event that happened? I felt like one of the next major events that happened was that Hawk sees the cubs at the top of the new mountain. He's flying up there and he's at the top trying to see what's going on. He sees them up there where nobody else can see them. And then as I go from there, we know that Hawk can't get to them because Hawk is being blown back from the wind. It's too windy for him to get close to the cubs. So I want to think about, what's the next thing that the characters did to try to rescue the cubs? You should have answered that all of the animals are trying to climb up to the cubs, but they fail. Every one of the animals tries to climb up, and they each get a little bit closer, but they all fall back down and nobody can get to the cubs. So we kind of reach this climax, this top point where it just does not seem like there's going to be any solution. And that's the most suspenseful moment. And for me, I felt like the most suspenseful moment was when Mother Bear starts to cry and is thinking that she will never get her cubs. But we know that's not how the story ends. We've got this falling action now. We know that Mother Bear is so upset that we have to start coming down to the end where we find the solution. So what is the next step that happens to help trying to find this resolution? The correct answer is that the inch measuring worm begins to climb up and climbs higher than any of the other animals. The measuring worm is trying to help to get the cubs down. We continue into the next piece, and this is where measuring worm gets to the top, and he wakes the animals, and they are afraid that they are never going to see their mother, and they start crying. So we still don't really have that solution yet, but we know that we're getting very close. You guys, for your You Do, are going to be answering that final question. How is the main conflict resolved? What happens at the end? You are going to be seeing a page like this in your Cami, and it says, so Mother Grizzly's conflict was resolved or solved when... How did the problem get solved? You are going to respond to this in your Cami page. After you do your Cami page, you will be working on the vocabulary page, and then you will be doing your reading log on Flipgrid.